Can't be a better month than March. You get the 65 degrees, the USA baseball team's playing. What else more do you want, Fred?
Sunday left in the year, but it's not a baseball game.
What is it?
Until November.
Oh, what are they having them on TV for then? Yeah, I saw some interviews with guys with USA.
It starts today.
Well, that's what I said. Why did you second guess me?
I wasn't second guessing. I was just confirming why it's a great time of the year.
Yeah, I agree with Fred. It is a great time of year, but special day on Thursday for us, with Trey and Denham, Nick and Jaxon Cooper. Three of those guys have been with us a long time. The fourth one in Denham, he's been here since he was born. And Trey just became part of us. But, you always want to see your seniors go out the right way. And in each and every way, they've done something for us. Probably been the hardest for Trey, in some ways. But he's been practicing really well lately. And he's helped us in a couple games before. Maybe he's got one left in him. And Denham, it's been awesome. I had an appreciation for having my son around all the time. For Doug and Lael, it's got to be a treat of all treats. And at the same time, he has helped us and will help us more. And Nick Sanders, he's one of my favorites, one of my favorite walk-ons of all time because he's just been here with us the whole time. He does so much for us, I think, in the locker room, so much for us in the classroom, and so much for us on the floor. He learns those scout team things like this. It makes a monstrous difference. And Jaxon Kohler, the one that was rated maybe the highest of that group, has had some ups and downs as he battles through some injuries and things he went through. But I'm not sure I've had a kid who cares as much about the game. Mateen did every day, every night. Denzel was one that just lived, eat, and slept it, and Tum Tum and McQuaid. I've had guys, but this kid, he puts more into his work every day than just about anybody I've had. And Coop, probably, what we'll do about Coop is we'll appreciate him as we always do when he's gone. If you look at all the little things he's done, I said the dumbest thing I did is not redshirt him his first year because he played. He just turned 21 years old. We got guys trying to get 6th, 7th year that are, 30, 40, 50, who the hell knows anymore. And here Coop is 21 and he'll be done. And but what he's done is he's improved every year. Sometimes the improvement was a little slower than I wanted or he wanted, but I think he saved his best basketball for last. I think he'll play basketball after college. I really do. He's a guy that's went from liking it to loving it, and he started living it. And when he did, good things started happening for him. He's been consistently a really good defender, and he's probably been my best leader for the young kids. And yet this year he's really improved his offense, and he's become a fan favorite. We are coming off an incredible week. It was, you look at the schedule and you look at your last 4 games, and at Purdue, at Indiana. Purdue is so good and such a tough place to play, and that was a treat in itself to go down there and see Gene and probably have an epic game against Matt where it was to nip and tuck the whole way like it's been for years. And then to go to Indiana when everybody knew their backs were a little bit more against the wall and play as well as we played, especially with the start, get a guy like Kerr to kind of come out of his shell. That was a big week. And now Thursday, we got Rutgers, and I think when you look at the 4 of them, you'd say Rutgers, you look at their record. Rutgers was the one team that played us as good or better than any of the teams we're playing. They just, we earned it at the end out there, but they probably deserved to beat us. Steve Peichel's one of my better friends in the league because more important than friendship is one of the guys I respect the most in the league. And he's gone from just building that program. Then he was blessed with having 2 superstars, and had some injury problems with him and things. And now he's kind of gone back. He's playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores. He keeps his team together. They're going to be really, really, really good. But those guards are electric. They hurt us early in the year. They've gotten nothing but better. And so I am concerned about the game. Senior night's always a strange night. It's usually never halfway in between. You're either so jacked and you play so good, or so jacked and it makes you play kind of bad because you're nervous, you're overexcited, whatever. So hopefully I'll use my experience with those 5 guys to talk about those things, and I do it the day before. But in them, they've won 3 out of their last 5 games and have road wins at Penn State and Maryland. We barely beat Penn State there, and we didn't play Maryland there. We had to stage the big comeback, as we all know. They too have had some ups and downs, but I told my team this morning, this will be the toughest team we've played all year. I didn't say the best team. I didn't see even the most competitive or, skilled team. But as far as street smart toughness, as far as smash mouth toughness, I love his team. It reminds me of the Cleveland's team we had. I mean, they hit you, they go hard, they work hard, it's who he is and it's who they're becoming, and that really impresses me. The guard, Francis, leads the team, and he had 23 against us, and they have some guards that are extremely quick and physical, and we're going to have to guard. It'll be the matchup becomes a little bit of a problem because sometimes they go with 5 guards out there, but a lot of times they have 4 guards, and that'll be a tough matchup for us. Hopefully we're a tough matchup for them and we do a little better job than we did. But I think after today's practice, we had the day off yesterday, but you don't get many off in this. And I felt like our guys were really excited to practice. I thought we got better today. Now if we can get better tomorrow and then play better in the game, that's what you got to be doing at this time of year. So questions, I'll take them.
Chris?
I'm sure you've been asked this sometime over the last 31 years, but do you remember your senior night and what, as a player, when you were there and you guys were making those runs, how did you navigate it?
It wasn't quite the excitement in my senior year. I think we probably had a snowstorm and millions missed the game, but you always remember your senior night because Grandpa came to the game, and he was, in his late 80s then. My parents, and then being from the UP, it's always a little more special. It was a place I dreamed of going, and but I don't remember exactly how the game went and everything. Maybe that's one of the reasons I try to make this even bigger. I try to make this a big night. And it's not just for our players. I try to look at everybody who touched my program. And so we're working on now, because we have a few more student girls, we have a few more managers. But here, everybody's a part of senior night, because I don't know many places it's like that. But I just believe that it does take a village to raise a child. And the village is all the people that have touched us. So we should appreciate all the other people that have been such. If I wish you'd get a chance, and maybe you will, but sometime when you're at a reunion here, which we have a lot, to see the number of student girls that come back or student managers that come back. And this group might be, manager-wise, you hate to say the best group, but this group has been special for our players. These guys come here at 10 o'clock at night to rebound for them, and they do so many things that I don't even know. So even though I didn't have all that, I want to make sure that that's important for the people here and moving forward. And so I'll try to remember what it was like. I'll talk to Garland. I probably threw him a few lobs under the rim and he didn't finish. And but there's nothing like senior night here. I mean, it's special, and it should be special because most of these kids have given 4 or 5 years of their life to this place, and I want to make sure they know they were appreciated. Our fans do a great job. It's a little harder when it's on a weeknight for you, for me, for the fans, for everybody. That's one sacrifice we can give for the 4 years they gave to us. And I hope everybody stays in their seats and enjoys one way or another. And, you know, we've had a couple, you know, Draymond Green's, that was hard, boy. His senior night, we lost at the buzzer, you know. But I haven't really changed what we do because I think it's so important what we do. So I'll remember and see if I can give you a better answer on mine. Go back in the archives and see what we got going.
You obviously started coming in and talking about March. Is there something that you think that now the way your programs build the culture that the guys feel it and you kind of flip a switch just to get another level of intensity?
I hope we don't flip a switch, but I hope they do realize it. And we will have subtle reminders, which we already have. On March is a special month. You know, I give my right arm if my birthday was in March. You know, it just should be that way. But you know, it doesn't put pressure on. It's all the guys that have been here over the past. You know, Terry Donnelly from Magic's era called, and he was here during grind week and met some of the managers. He was so impressed. He's flying up to see them, the players, and you know, go to the games and from Texas. And you know, I think that's what March is all about. You know, everybody gets a fever in March, but here, I think we've made March a special time of year. It's had its negatives. It's had its positives. It's going to be special till the day I hang up my whistle, because I think March it's not the start of baseball. Sorry. It's not the end of the NBA. It's not the end of hockey league. March is the time when you're playing for something that you'll remember for a lifetime. And that's why March is so special.
Dawn Staley with USC recently said she's working to get home a couple of her former players from Israel with everything going on right now. I'm curious what the plan, if there's a plan in place to get Malik Hall and Cassius Winston safety, and what that might be. You
know, it's funny, not funny, but we talked about that yesterday. TK has been in touch, and we talked about that yesterday, and probably today I'll be talking to both guys, and I have a guy over there, believe it or not, that went to high school around here that goes there 3 months a year and happens to be over there now and has a lot of connections. So it's hard to say where everybody is as far as what is going on, but it's not hard to say that my first thing to them is going to be, you can make money the rest of your life. You just better make sure you have it. And don't be, you know, do what's best for you, which from what I'm hearing from most is to get out of there, you know. And so whatever that takes, I'll make sure I'm helping do that. I commend Dawn Staley for that too, if she's got more than a few people over there, and I think all coaches who have people over there would feel the same way. It's their decision at the end, you know. I don't know how far away they are, how close they are. That I don't know, but I will know by the end of today or tomorrow for sure. Thanks for asking.
Larry, is Carson Cooper what's right about college basketball? I mean, it's rare that someone stays 4 years and bets on himself. A coach bets on a kid that maybe isn't a 4 or 5 star, and it in the end works out.
Well, he's what's right about it for me. Jax too, you know. Jax had options to do things, and I just think that a good deal is a good deal for you and a good deal for me. And I think sometimes I hate to say this, but I think people in general just always think about what is it like for the kids. Sometimes we're a good deal for the kids. As I'm learning, as different kids transfer, and what happens to them then and how they feel after a year away. So I think Carson Cooper has been great for me. That doesn't mean I'm not always frustrated and don't want him to do more, because I know he can. And I think we've been great for him because not only his parents and his brothers and sisters, but his grandparents and friends and everybody else has gotten a chance to come and see him, which I think is still what it's all about. I mean, why would you want to do the greatest things? That's why I've always wanted to stay close to home as far as recruiting. Why would you want to accomplish great things and not have anybody around you that cares about you? And he's had both worlds. He's grown, he's learned. He's going to be better prepared for the real world because he's had to sit, he's had to learn, he's had to, get pushed and pulled, and the same thing he's going to do for the next 40 years. And but has he been right for what, to me, he's the epitome of it. Not even highly recruited, came and earned his way. Just been a great ambassador for the program, a great leader, a great guy that you can have your freshmen talk to, a great student. He's so great. If I keep talking about him, you're going to ruin my last month of the season, because this isn't usually when I give flowers out. I usually do that at the end of the year. But he is, I think, the epitome of a college basketball player, that earned everything he got. And when it's all said and done, and I hear how the fans yell Coop whenever he does anything, and it's a love affair between them and him. It will be between our staff and him. It definitely is between the other players and him. And let's hope that better things are yet to come for us and him now and for him in the future.
Tom, you said maybe a dozen times this year that you wish you'd redshirted. And I'm wondering, where does that stem from, just sort of the wishing you had that guy another year, or do you think back to that freshman year and who he was as a player? Because there were some games where he helped you a lot that freshman year. If you had to do it over again, would you actually redshirt him? And also, second to that, did that impact at all the decision with Jesse in terms of thinking a little more forward, thinking ahead, and what was best for the kid?
100% on all of the above. And it's the only reason I brought Judge Mathis in here last week, because I figured since everybody else is getting a judge to make a guy eligible, maybe if I suck up to Judge Mathis, he can get that done on national TV or something. So, no, on a serious note with that, I always used to redshirt guys, and then it always became illegal almost, where everybody's, well, that's what you're going to do. You're going to go there and redshirt. Redshirting in basketball is the greatest thing that can ever happen to a kid, because it doesn't matter. He can come out whenever he wants. So it's like an insurance policy. If things go wrong, you still got another year. And put it this way, you've seen how Cooper's developed. If he did have one more year, would he be a Morris Peterson? Could he be a Player of the Year candidate? Would he be a 13-year pro? Who knows? But, I wish I would have. And I don't think, we thought about it as much. Yeah, did that make a difference with Jesse? Yes, it did, because I used to do it way back with Morris and them, and then kind of got away from it a little bit. And wish I would have, or I wish I had some of the reasons that some of these other people have to get him a year back. But he's going to graduate. He's going to have his master's. I think he's going to be I think he'll play basketball after here. I think his best days are ahead of him. That's the only thing I feel bad about, because I lose out on that. But as long as he makes out on that, it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
So I'm wondering how have you seen Trey handle this season? You know, he's an older guy, he's had different experiences, and I'm sure he pictured something different maybe than what it's been. Just how has he hung in there? We've seen him pop off, you know, late in the season at different times, and maybe that shows that he's still there in it, but just how have you seen him navigate this year?
Well, put it this way, if I was Trey, I'd be really disappointed. You know, I would be. We got him in the summer, and I thought he might be our starting two guard, and he shoots it well enough. He's struggled in a couple areas, but it's not all his fault either. It's what we have and what we need. And but you know, he stayed pretty positive. He really has. The players have been great with him. They've been phenomenal. He's had a tough road. You know, he went to 5 different schools, I think. Normally, I wouldn't touch a guy that is in that position, to be very blunt and honest with you. But his reasons, you know, started out going to a junior college. Then one place he was at, his coach died. And, you know, there were some real reasons for some of it. His family was great. He's been a great student. And for a guy that, it has to be tough what he's going through. He hasn't shown that at all. He's had his days when he's been down and we call him in and he pops right back up. So maybe if there's anybody who's learned to deal with adversity and things, I'm not sure anybody's done a better job than Trey has. And for that, I'll be thankful and I'll always try to help him. I really will. And he's not done yet. I mean, he can shoot the ball. And there's times that he catches fire, and so there's still basketball left.
Like Frankie last year, you know, Frankie was kind of in a similar.
Right. That's a good point. And then, you know, he played pretty well down the stretch.
Tom, I think Sunday was the 17th straight game that Jeremy's averaged or been in double figures, and obviously he's leading the nation in assists. But I wonder for him to be playing at the level he is, and with what he went through earlier in the season and some of the attention, what that says about his sort of approach as a leader and his character.
You know, what's been fun about Jeremy is, I made no bones about it, Jeremy was a pain in the keister for a while, as some other great players I've had were. And I think what I like there too is I've wavered in the last 5 years on some things. You know, how hard do you push a guy? What do? You know, you get so much crap to deal with now. And I just said to myself, no, I think this kid needs me. Arrogantly, I said that. And I think I need him. And there was one of the greatest coaches in the country that sent me a text saying that. And you know, I remember back to Mateen, his first year, and you know, we still got to remember is Jeremy missed so much time and everything and missed that summer. But I'm really proud of what he's done. Gone through some adversity, some self-inflicted and some not. And has grown up, which we're all supposed to do. Fred's still working on it. And he's been, we told him what he had to improve on. Not turning the ball over as much. He got better at that. His free throw shooting a year ago, he's gotten great at that. His overall shooting, you know, I still think Jeremy was going through that stage that Mateen came to a lot earlier. Trust what I say. Trust what we say. And I think he struggled with that, you know, and thought he was just going to become a better shooter because he got a year older. And then he started spending more time on that, you know. And then defensively, I think he could still be a bigger pit bull than he is. But I think part of it was his conditioning a year ago and everything. And then the guy got some bad habits. So we're changing some things. He's changing some things. But now I think there's a bond and a relationship. And that's pretty cool when you get that. Sometimes it never takes just a year. I can't think of anybody it was just a year. It's usually a 2-year process, and sometimes when situations come, it's a little longer. But I must say to my guys 1,000 times, I must have my former players call my guys 100 times and say, you know, you got to trust somebody. And this day and age, nobody wants to trust anybody. And so I used to say that I had to once I earned my position, head coach, Hall of Fame, won the national championship, they should just listen. And I realized that that's not the way it is. And maybe that's not a bad thing. So I think it helps me that I have to constantly earn their trust and they have to earn mine. And that's the way I say it now. I'm going to meet you 50-50. I got to earn yours, you got to earn mine. And I feel like this last month, it's really growing. Usually when there's some controversy or adversity, that helps it speed the process up a little bit. You find out who's in your corner and who's not. And I love the way he's playing right now. He's trusting that pull-up jump shot. He's taken maybe 9, 10, 11 shots a game instead of we got up to 18, And he's really made some great passes. He keeps improving his fast break, because I think he could be electric on that, and he is, but not on a consistent basis. He keeps kind of getting better defensively. He's playing as good as anybody in the league right now, and he's making players around him better, and that's what the great ones, as Irvin Johnson, Mateen Cleaves, those guys had the ability to make decent players very good players, and I think he's doing some of that.
I'll follow up on that. When
Yep.
you say the 50-50, was there a moment you can identify where you guys met and you were there? Was there a specific instance?
A moment, I don't know if it was a moment, but it's you don't have to be a genius to figure out there were some trying times, and it wasn't when something happened. I mean, in the first year, second year, and Jeremy can want to argue, and we all know Tom enjoys arguing. So it's another match made in heaven, I had somebody that I could go after, and he had somebody. I always tell him, if I can give it, I can take it. I can take it. And, I'd say when all this stuff happened a month ago where it started getting national news, I really did believe in the kid, because I've got film on what everybody else is going through, and one thing I've got in my job is I got a lot of friends in the profession. I got a lot of friends in the media. So I know what's going on at different places all over the country. And it's kind of helped me now, because sometimes I think I got it so bad, and probably I'm one of the luckier guys in America. And if Jeremy keeps progressing, he's going to be one really damn good player. I mean, he's damn good, but I mean really good. Get that three-point shot down a little bit more. Get that defense up a little bit more. Pushing that ball a little more. He's in better shape than he's ever been in. Leading a little bit more, believe it or not. I told him I never see him get excited. He says, well, I'm a perfectionist. I don't get excited until I do everything right. I said, brother, then I'll never see you excited, because that ain't happening. And so those are the kind of discussions. He's a guy that stops by the office all the time. And I got a list of texts in the last year and a half that I've sent him that could stretch from here to the football stadium. And just little reminders, little things. So the coach-player has developed into a relationship, and that's the way it's supposed to be with your point guards. And he's becoming one of the next great ones here because of what he's doing, and it's him. I mean, I can show a lot of people direction to where to go. He's done his job, and I think he's doing it at a pretty high level, and I think he's keeping everything else at bay, and I'm proud of him for that, to be honest with you.
Back to senior day, in your humble, biased opinion, why is senior night here more special than most other places?
Well, I'm sure senior night is special everywhere. I said one thing: nobody celebrates all the people in there that I've seen and the ones I've been around. That's one reason. Number two, I think people here. I've seen a lot of senior nights where you come out and the place is half empty because people leave, or a lot of places have it before the game. I did that once or twice my first couple of years. I think that brought more nerve-wracking and more this and that and not as good of appreciation. And when I learned when we lost that day, because that's what you dread having senior day and losing. But it's part of life, you got to learn how to deal with it. And so I learned that day that it's not all bad. We're still appreciating a 4-year span, not a one-night deal. And so I struggle senior night. I'll be honest with you. I struggle in the locker room before. I struggle on the bench during, and I definitely struggle in the last minute. But I also appreciate that I'm glad I have seniors. I like having guys that have gone through the program. And I appreciate what our fans have done over the years because, it's not always perfect because, let's take tomorrow night or Thursday night, 8 o'clock game on a weekday, and it's easy to leave and just say goodbye either way. But for the most part, they've stayed. And I hope tomorrow they do because this has been a unique group, not filled with McDonald's All-Americans, not filled with these. These are the guys next door, But the guys next door right now are 24 and
5.
No, I'm sorry. These guys next door are 54 and 11 or 12 or something in 2 years. There hasn't been many teams here that have been that. And so, special group in their own way, playing with connectivity, playing with togetherness, it's not just Coop that you kind of enjoy, Larry. It's really the whole team. And it hasn't been just 1 year. And that's enough good things said about them until we win a bunch more games because still got some fish to fry and some things to do, and it starts Thursday night. It's like I said, senior nights are tricky nights, and this team coming in, I'm telling you, is one of the tougher physical teams that we played all year, and I really have an appreciation for the coach. Steve is an incredible guy, a very humble guy, and yet a very principled guy that his teams play hard. They're going to come in here and play their butt off, I promise.
Just one thing on Nick. Didn't Barry call you for that opportunity several years ago?
No. You know Barry better than that. Barry wouldn't even do that. What happened is a friend of Barry's, George Johnson, who lived right next door to him, who was our former manager, called me and he said, he knew a little bit about Nick, and I called the high school and found out a little more about Nick, and then had Barry and his whole family came up for a visit, and I loved all of them. His mother is great, his brothers are phenomenal, and Barry was, you talk about being lucky in a job. I've gotten a chance to meet presidents and do all these great things. And, Muhammad Ali and Barry Sanders are really, really, really two guys on the top of my list that I actually, and I don't know Barry that well because nobody does, because he's so humble. But if you watch Nick, you can see why he's Barry's kid. If you remember Barry playing, just the way he handled himself, what he was all about, how he left the game. Hard to have nothing but great respect. And again, I say this honestly, that's not why Nick's here because he's Barry's kid. Nick's here because he's Nick Sanders. And Nick's here, I tell Barry all the time, I don't know what kind of student you were, Barry, but I bet you weren't as good as your son. His son is a phenomenal student. And I think Barry agreed with me. But it's really been fun because he gets up but never says anything. He's taught me by watching him as a player, now watching him as a parent, what life's really all about. And hopefully that relationship won't change. I told you I'm trying to convince Nick to come back as a GA because he wants to get his master's and everything. And I just like having him in this program. He stands for a lot of things I believe in.
Denham Wojcik and the process he's made, an important role that he has right now, moving the ball, playing defense. What do you see more from him in the last month or so, what he's done in the past 4 weeks?
Yeah, believe it or not, it's the one argument his dad and I get into. You know, Doug, we kind of set up who's subbing and we kind of try to get the minutes, and then Doug has to manage that during the game. And a couple times I said, you better get your kid in there, because I do think he brings value to us. He's smart as hell. He's tough as hell. He is a great teammate. He knows every play. Like sometimes he runs the scout team, and he's now backing up Jeremy. Him and Jeremy have developed a good relationship. Denham's another guy, you know. For him, this is the American dream. He was here as a 3-4-year-old. You know, I remember his mother used to take my son and his 2 sons, and we'd go on a recruiting trip once in a while. We'd take our kids, and Lael would dress them up in a uniform, a T-shirt, and she'd put the number of the recruit, so it's probably illegal. So maybe somebody 30 years later will turn me in. But, you know, we brought our kids in with, you know, number so-and-so, you know, that was somebody that we're recruiting. And remember we went to Minnesota one time, and so he's been around the program forever. Grew up his first couple years in it, and has always followed it, and went and graduated from Harvard. I mean, what more do you have to say about his academics? He's going to get his master's here. But he not only gets to play for his father, which I think is incredible, and he's actually playing, but he gets to, it was probably a dream of his when you're 3, 4, 5 years old, and the first thing you know is Michigan State basketball, and you're in the gym and you're doing that. It had to be a dream of his to play here, and the dream worked out for him, but it has worked out for us. And if his old man would quit being so selfish with the minutes, he should get a few more minutes of the game. He really should. I guess I gotta use my higher power as the head coach on that deal. But it's always tricky too. You know, when you coach your son, it's tricky, unless it's like I did. It's a little easier. But when you coach your son and you got to make some decisions like that, but he has never hurt us. You know, he made a big play the other day. They had cut the lead down to 6, and he made a driving kick out to Kerr. That was a tough play. We hit a 3, and that kind of was the final separator. So I know he can guard anybody. I know he'll do whatever I ask him to do. I know he'll run his stuff right. Denham has been, you know, so I got 2 guys, you know. I got Barry Sanders' kid and Doug Wojcik's kid. But I swear to you, they're not here because they're Barry Sanders' kid and Doug Wojcik's kid. They're here because of what they did and what I thought they could help us with, and we thought he could help us in this area. And then there's one other area that they both passed the test with flying colors. They wanted to be here. Did you hear me? They wanted to be here. That freaking matters. And so if I should get credit for something, it was those kind of decisions. Players play the game. I have to make those kind of decisions, and they were good decisions.
Do you see Denham being more comfortable now than maybe 2 months ago?
Oh, better player. Shoots it better, does this better, does that better. And I remember now he had some injuries and took some time off too. He had the double hernia surgery and things like that, and shoulder surgery. So, I mean, he's gone through a lot too, but he's definitely a better player. Definitely a better player. And, you know, another guy, if he had another year, you know. That's the hard thing about 1 year here. You know, you have to learn so many things, or 1 year anywhere. Sometimes you're so good it just works out. Sometimes you really need a year to get under your belt, you know. It's been interesting to watch KG for us. Now he's almost full go, you know. He's a freak. I mean, how he come back from that injury like he did is amazing. I told his dad he was in Indiana this weekend, and the kid's amazing. But, you know, this is going to help him now because he gets kind of a third of a year in, and now the 2 he has left will be good years for him. Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.